Hi, I'm Chris Flowers. I'm here with the Young Republicans interviewing our newest senator in LD23. This is Steve Smith. Steve, thanks so much for taking the time to meet with us.
I appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
So we really appreciate the work that you're doing for us so far. We know how hard you had to work in the campaign, and now I know how hard you are working on the floor of the Senate floor. So I really appreciate taking the time to meet with us like this. So,
anytime, my pleasure.
I just wanted to start out. You really are the definition of government by the people. I mean, you're really of the people by the people. So if you could tell everybody your background and how you beat the incumbent Rebecca Rios. I mean, go ahead and expound on that a little bit, if you would, please.
No, I appreciate that first. So thank you. It's like a lot of people over the last few years. I haven't liked the way our country was looking. Didn't like the way it was feeling, tasting, sounding, you name it. And a few years ago, I decided that this past year I was going to run against Ms. Rios. Large part because I just felt that we collectively had just been grossly misrepresented. So my background is just, I've been in business. I graduated from Michigan State University several years ago, and since then I was a partner in a sports marketing company. I did marketing for a medical device company. I currently run an agency now, so it's my background has always been in business, but of course I've always, like I'm sure most of your viewers have been politically active, and you just want what's best for your country in your opinion. I've always held strong conservative, Christian, moral beliefs, and I think our government should be espousing those, and unfortunately I just, I don't think we were represented well. So a couple years ago I decided that in 2010 I was going to run for the Senate, for the state Senate seat. And by the grace of God, we won. So, I mean, the rest is history.
Absolutely.
Or the rest has just started, depending on how you look at it. So
history didn't make
it. Yeah. So it's so that's kind of how we got to here. It was, as you mentioned, it was a campaign of the people, by the people, for the people. Complete grassroots efforts. When I filled out my committee to run, I was the candidate. I was the treasurer. I was the accountant. I was the campaign manager. It was me. And it was a tremendous amount of work, but I knew that going in. But I certainly could not have done it without the helps of people like you and just all the people that cared enough to go out there and get people the knowledge and information they needed and get them awakened and just all of that. So it was truly a campaign of the people because I just certainly couldn't have done it without. So we're very pleased with the results.
And so are we.
Well, thank you.
Maybe you could expound on it maybe just a little further. How long did the Rios family hold that office? This is really, because to me, it's really proof positive that David can beat Goliath. So expound on that a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, the Rios name is synonymous in our neck of the woods, and they had held that seat for nearly 30 years combined. This was before term limits came in, of course. So it was to say they had a stranglehold on that seat would be an understatement. And the thing is, had Ms. Rios won this time, she would have been termed out. So officially, I guess the Rios name on some level would have ended. But again, I'm glad that we were able to end it a bit early. So
yeah, like I said, we appreciate that. I know. Because I do receive emails from you quite a bit. You really do keep the people informed on what you're doing, what's going on. Here's what we're challenging. So you really hit the floor. You were ready to work. Tell us a little bit. Tell the the people that are out there. Tell us a little bit of some of the things that you've been working on since you've been a senator, and some of the things that are in the works.
Sure. Well, there's no secret. When we got here, we knew it was jobs and the budget. Those were the two primary concerns, as they were during their campaign trail too. So right when we got here, the push was to get a jobs bill out and to get a budget out as fast as possible. We want to show the people of Arizona these things are very important to us. We don't want to wait around and play politics. We want to put our attention here, focus it, and get it out. Currently, we just passed the governor's job bill this week, so there's a lot of work that went into that. As I said on the floor of the Senate, as we passed it, there's certainly some things in there I don't like, but as I also said on the floor, I'm sure there's going to be many of bills where there's going to be information and language in there that I'm not going to be 100% on board with. But if you weigh the bill on its own face, there's enough good in there that I think to help move Arizona forward. So that took a lot of work. The budget is going to be a tremendous undertaking. It already has been. We're trying to finalize that now. So outside of those two major issues, personally, you know, I'm on 5 different committees here, which is considered a lot.
What committees are you on?
I'm on appropriations, and then I'm the chairman of the sub-appropriations committee for transportation and criminal justice. I'm the vice chairman of the Board of Security, State Sovereignty, and Federalism committee, which is a great committee.
Yes.
On government reform as well, and on education. So fortunately, I've been able to have bills in each committee that, which is nice because there's a lot of issues with Arizona. There's a lot of things going on. There's not just one problem. So it's nice serving on that many where you can actually learn a lot about all the subjects, but more importantly, that you can introduce a lot of bills into those committees. Not that you have to be on those committees to submit bills, but it's nice that you can kind of have your hand in a lot of different pots. And you learn about a lot of things. You're able to have impact in a lot of areas. For example, I have a few education bills that are out there that we're working on now to try to give teachers more performance pay. I think it's tremendously important that we've got to pay these folks what they're worth. More importantly, when you do that, you will essentially eliminate the bad teachers in the school district. So we have a good piece of legislation. We're trying to move forward that way. A prime area I'm focused on is, as you very well may recall, is illegal immigration. And I've introduced a few bills that have caught some national attention. I was on Fox News recently for one of them. One of the first bills that I passed was, we want to build a fence on our southern border, and nobody's doing it. And everybody keeps saying the federal government won't do it, and the state of Arizona has no money to do it. And I said, fine. So what I did, I created a bill that allows for an interstate compact, which is essentially more than one state getting together to work on the same problem, to build the wall. And we're going to be launching a website that's going to go worldwide that will allow private donors to donate to the Build a Wall fence, foundation, I should say. And we're going to take those proceeds and start with the purchasing and procurement of the supplies needed to actually start. The other piece of the bill says, though, that we will use inmate labor to actually build the wall, because a major component in the cost of it is labor. So the idea is we have the website that does not affect the general fund, through private donations to build up enough supplies to start the construction, use the inmate labor to, physically start the construction, and we have a plan in place. Again, at a very low cost to the state of Arizona, because inmate labor is 50 cents an hour. Inmate labor has built a wall in Douglas, Arizona, so their labor it's not haphazard. It's very good. So I'm proud of that. We're gonna be voting on that on the floor soon, which will be nice. And I also have a bill that passed committee to stop multiple languages of state documents being printed. Most specifically is the Clean Elections, I call it catalog. Some people refer to it as a voter's guide, but my goodness, when it shows up in the mail, it's about this thick because it's just replicated in Spanish. What a lot of people don't know is it costs about $1 million to produce that every election. So I have a bill that passed again that's going to say, well, we're going to make sure that's just printed in English only, as English is the official language of the state, with caveats in there that folks that want to request that information in Spanish will have it and will also be on a website. It's just a cost-saving method to the state. Finally, I think the biggest one that's garnered the most attention is my hospital admissions bill. I have a bill out there that's going to be heard next week that pretty much says if you're an illegal alien and you go to an emergency room, you will be treated by the doctor as with discretion as how they treat patients in general. But throughout your duration of your visit, and upon stabilization of care, you will be asked to provide citizenship. If no such citizenship is provided, then the hospital is required to report that incident and then contact the local authorities accordingly. And I got to tell you, we spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year on free health care for illegals. The people of Arizona were clear a few years ago when they passed Prop 200 that said no more state services for illegals. Yet we continue to hemorrhage money out and spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year in the state of Arizona on just that, just for health care alone. So this bill is going to be instrumental. Needless to say, we've had our fair share of critics against the bill, as there were in with SB 1070. But I sure hope that it finds its way through the committee and it passes. It's a vital piece of legislation, and that's something that I'm working diligently on right now.
And on that note, we're going to take a short break.